Hey, good evening. It's Friday, May 24th, in the year 2024. Just love how these things correspond. 24th, 24. Anyway, thank you so much for being here tonight. Welcome back to Everyday Talk 24/7. We're going to be looking at the next to last section of the genres of biblical literature, and these are the letters. Now, they get referred to as epistles sometimes. We call them books, but what they are is letters written from someone to sometimes individuals, sometimes to a church, a group of people, sometimes to all of God's people. But they are warm and they're intimate. I have in my library tons of books, commentaries, yay thick, on various books, and I'm not down on any of that. But let's not lose the original context for these letters that were written because a person, under the direction of the Holy Spirit, under the direction of Jesus, wanted to communicate something to God's people. People that, for the most part, these writers care deeply about. I think sometimes we miss the sense of intimacy that is happening in these letters. So we're calling them epistles or calling them books, I think misses the point. Now, true, Romans and 1st and 2nd Corinthians are longer letters, more detailed. But then, as the other books, the other letters of the New Testament, they're shorter. Hebrews is a general letter written to the specific audience of Hebrews, people trying to warn them. But most of the letters are these warm, intimate expressions that came waiting for the apostles to send this letter out. They were eagerly anticipated, and then when they got them, most of the time, they were read in one sitting. Somebody reading them to the people of God. And then as copies were made, they were able to read them other times. But let's try and envision that you're hearing these letters for the first time. You're hearing Paul say in Ephesians, I want to see your hearts opened. I want to see the eyes of your hearts opened so you can know the power of God. So you can know the rich deposit given to us by the Holy Spirit. So we can know the hope, the inheritance that we have. Peter gives some warnings. Jude gives warnings. Philemon is an intimate book, written for a personal plea to someone. When you sit down and you open the letters, understand that they're letters. And I'm all for all the study. I totally agree with it. But try reading them all the way through as you were anticipating a letter from someone that you really cared about. And you just drink this thing in, and you want to hear it. That's what's exciting about them. Because they're intimate and they're personal. And they're written because the Holy Spirit has caused the author to have a deep compassion, a deep sense of urgency of writing these letters. They needed to hear them. And then in the majestic power of God and the majestic wonder of the Holy Spirit, these letters are not only for the people who they were written to, they're written for us. Places like Corinth and Ephesus, those are big cities like our big cities, cosmopolitan cities, people from all over the world, people tempted by the same things we're tempted from. So it's not just ancient stuff, it's stuff that's for you and me. Jesus even wrote letters. There's 7 letters in the opening of Revelation. All of Revelation is not prophetic, apocalyptic literature. In these first 3 chapters, there are these warm, intimate letters of challenge, of warning, of rebuke, and hope from Jesus to the 7 churches. We would do well to have those etched into our hearts. But don't think of the epistles, don't think of them as dry. Think of them as coming from the burden of someone's heart to people that he loved and cared about. That the Holy Spirit directed this be done for their blessing and for ours. So think carefully about these letters. See them as letters. Yes, do the study. I totally recommend that. But read them through. What is the message that's being put forth? Because it's meant that way. It's meant for us to start with something and read all the way through. As we just recently looked at our study in Ephesians, the whole purpose of Ephesians that Paul is saying is Paul wants the Ephesians to know God better. So everything he's writing is to help them know God better. That's how we need to look at these books. Check them out. Look at them. That's why a couple of days ago I recommended the ESV Study Bible. ESV is not my favorite translation, but it's helpful and good. But the Study Bible has an introduction to each book of the Bible that will make you familiar with the setting for the reason why the letters were written. And that's invaluable in itself. So just having that Study Bible is like a little mini introduction to the themes of the Bible. Immensely helpful. The letters. They're written to help us love God more deeply. Don't lose sight of that, because it's a great blessing for all of us. Just one more genre to go, the apocalyptic literature, and we'll take a look at that tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here. Again, love your questions, thoughts, feedback, any thoughts you have. Put them in the comment section or send them over to my website, everydaytalk247.com. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You have a great evening. Good night.